Good evening, folks. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We're out here tonight at Tunguska to do some little telescopic action. I think I'll probably do some trolling. Haven't done any tele trolling in a while. Seems like a good night to do some of that. Let's go and get a line set up for it here. Size 2 hooks. Let's have a look at on Mayfly. I appreciate the follow there, Mark. Welcome to the channel. Okay, so we got 86 of those. All right, we're going Mayfly, so that sounds like a good plan. We'll do a little telescopic trolling. Let's go ahead and check the cafe orders before we head out. Oh, appreciate the bits as well. It's very much appreciated, sir. All right, so we got, am I going to get some Arctic Mule? That's a big pellet. Probably won't get that. We might. Arctic Mule, that's another big one. And we might be able to fill one of these out by the end of the night here. Let's go ahead and get on the boat, and I think we'll head up to the front trolling, and then we'll probably drift on our way back. You out there trolling at the quarry? How's it going for you out there? Haven't seen too much action on the Discord channels from it today. That's where I want the boat station. All right, getting the old tin can. Yeah, Trophy Laker, very nice. Those are some heavy fighters right there. You know, the other day I got a 8.2 kilo lake trout on my telescopic, and it was rough to pull in. Hey Canadian, how's it going? You have a good weekend? Looks like someone just pulled a blue tag Vindus out somewhere on telescopic. I'm assuming probably out on Ladoga Lake. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and troll up to the eastern edge, and then we'll drift the rest of the way. Go with 2-meter depth today. We got any exciting plans for Halloween coming up in the next week? We do have the initial first ad break coming up in about 30 seconds here to prevent any pre-roll ads for the rest of the stream. Oh, we got a water body 790 gram Vindus. Congrats on that. That's a big one right there. One up there close to Left for Mushes that he got a little while back. Did you get on a ultralight though? That's what he was trying to do all that time when he got his. No ads. Yeah, I mean, for subscribers don't get ads, but also got like an ad blocker or something like that. Some of those will prevent them. Got a new setup for trolling. So are you doing? I'm assuming you're doing spinner trolling for out there at Quarry. I've tried making telescopic trolling work out there, but what I've noticed is that if the water body doesn't have a natural current, trolling with telescopic seems to have like a extremely low bite rate. So it really only tends to work on these rivers that have a current associated with them. Grinding the float game for a while. Name got any of the high-end telescopic rods yet? I expect we'll probably start seeing some YouTube float guides from you here soon, right? Nighttime out here is not particularly productive, but good news is about the time we get to the top and we start switching to drifting, sun should be up. I know early on, Quarry was my kind of my go-to until I had Volkov unlocked. A lot of spin trolling out there. Which luckily, Quarry's still pretty good for trolling. Volkov, it seems like, yeah, Volkov's been dead for months now. I don't know if it's ever gonna come back. It's been absolutely useless. I don't know why. You'd think that by now it would have picked back up, but it's no one has been able to get that lake or reservoir, whatever it is, to be active for trolling. Now it has been decent, I guess, for some bottom fishing spots like Bream and whatnot, but yeah, trolling on Volkov is like a thing of the past at this point. Yeah, I think they're beyond sleeping. I think they may have gone into full-on hibernation. Saving up work right now. Ladoga only stopped one line. I bet the whatever snapped your line, it was probably a big lake trout. Those suckers, man. As we saw on mine the other day, like even on these Falcons, an 8.2 kilo lake trout will just about snap the line for sure. We've got about a minute left before the ads are over. Then I'll go into my discussion about my plans for Fishing Planet streaming. I'm going to start doing some alternate streaming on that. So far out here, I am trying this. I'm actually going to go ahead and see. Do I have mayfly larva? I do. Let's downsize to a size 1 hook and do some mayfly larva instead. Mayfly with redworm. Figured I'd give the size 2-aught hook a try out here, but I don't think it's going to get us anything. Moving right along here. All right, so ads just about over. So welcome back from the ads there. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to try a few different things over the coming weeks to see how everything works best. But my tentative plan right now is to alternate days. So today I'm doing Russian Fishing 4. Tomorrow I'll do Fishing Planet, and then I'll switch back to RF4 and just sort of flip back and forth between those. And if I see enough interest in Fishing Planet, I'll probably try to do, instead of alternating days, I'll do alternating times so I can go back to doing RF4 every night at my usual time, but then I can do Fishing Planet before or after, just to give a little bit of different content, and also just for my own sanity, because I'm kind of at that spot in RF4 right now where it's a really, really hardcore grind to get progress on anything. So I want to try to break it up with Fishing Planet so I don't get completely burnt out on it. But anyone that is interested, Fishing Planet does have clubs now, which are kind of like guilds in an MMO perspective. And joining them, if you have each additional member, everyone gets like bonus XP, I think extra silver. They have special seasonal competitions, stuff like that. So I will be creating a fishing club on there for tomorrow's stream. Will be the first stream of it, and anybody that is interested in joining that is free to join. Absolutely, Canadian. I've been relearning the game because I haven't really played it since 2000 or early 2022, so I guess it was early last year, so almost 2 years now, and picked most of it back up. Definitely one of those games that there's similarities enough with RF4. I mean, it being a fishing game, but it's also they also are very different in their own ways. So I think they're games where people can kind of enjoy both on their own right, which is good. And I did see it. They added a new line tension option that makes a lot more similar to like the horizontal middle of the screen one, like an RF4. So it seems like they're trying to make it a little easier transition for RF4 players. Hydrate, you got it. Cheers. And as far as Halloween competition, I'm waiting to find out to see if I will have availability this weekend to do it. If not, I'll do it on the night before Halloween. So next Monday, I do want to do another little competition and raffle on here, special stream for that. It won't be raffling like a whole nice telescopic rod like last time. It'll be a bunch of like small raffles throughout the stream for like premium baits and stuff like that. And we'll do another Tele competition somewhere for some in-game wine. A little fun thing to do. We got here another broad whitefish, looks like. One day I'll find the taimen out here again. Sounds good, James. Do you have any special holiday stream or YouTube special plans we can shout out while you're here? Another person got a 795 gram Vindus on Tele. Must be popping out there on the Doga Lake right now. Hey there, Pyro. How's it going? Welcome to the chat. Just doing a little bit of right now some telescopic trolling up to the eastern edge of the Tunguska River here, and then we're going to switch it to just drift all the way back up. Yeah, get a little bit closer to the center while we work our way over there. With the plan for Halloween, I wish there was like they've got the Halloween event going on right now on Fishing Planet, which, you know, being a little bit more arcadey, they're able to get away with a little more. So they have like fish that are glowing and like Frankenstein's monster style fish, things like that. So it's been fun to play around with some of that stuff. So we can see those on my stream of it tomorrow night. But it's a shame that I know we've talked about in the past, it's a shame RF4 doesn't do more seasonal events for other holidays. It seems like the only one is just the actual like New Year's / Christmas event. Yeah, like it's neat. Like you get different you get like these special baits on Fishing Planet to like catch the fish, or you can sometimes catch them on regular fish. I caught a couple like ghost steelhead on there, and you can get, I guess, like some premium gear out of it and special cosmetics, things of that sort. It's really neat. One of the things I'm definitely looking forward to with the alternating streams, I'm getting close on Fishing Planet to being a high enough level to unlock Actuba, which is the one body of water that is on both that game and here on RF4. That's a decent pellet there, a little over a kilo. So one of the things I'm interested in doing is some back-to-back streams showcasing Actuba in both games. Be pretty fun. Even though we know that Actuba on RF4 hates me, maybe it'll treat me better on Fishing Planet. That one. Anyone go into any with Halloween coming up, with holiday parties and stuff like that? Anyone have any neat costumes they're planning on wearing this weekend or next week? Sick. Sorry to hear that, Mark. Hopefully you'll be feeling better by the weekend. It is that especially vulnerable time of year where our bodies are kind of adjusting to the temperature starting to get cold, but then there's still that little bit of heat. So like we're much more vulnerable to virus and bacterial infection as a result. No, I'm certainly ready for full-on winter to hit. Here where I'm at, it's like we have this about a month and a half or 2 months where it'll be, it's that one. It'll be like low 40s during the night and then like high 70s during the day. So it's like there's just no adjusting to the temperature. Ark Survival Incident released at the end of the month. That's not Ark 2, right? That's like another expansion to the original Ark, or is that Ark 2? I haven't kept up with the development on that. It's that one as well. Been a couple days. My timing's off here. I remember like when they first announced Ark 2, they had a like Vin Diesel in the trailer or something like that. Remember? It's oh, okay, they're upgrading to the new Unreal Engine. Gotcha. So like Ark Survival Evolved, I'll occasionally, like every couple years, I'll run a private server of it. It's one of those games that's like, for me, it's really fun until you get to the point where you're like breeding and raising from eggs for like stacks and stuff. It becomes like such a chore at that point, but up to that point is super fun. And ironically, fishing is extremely powerful on Ark. It's not particularly fun, but it gets you some of the best blueprints you can get in the game. Will Ark PvP? Ark 2 is delayed till December next year. Dang. Yeah, I've never been much of the like Ark or Rust or those kind of PvP games. I've never been as big on the PvP side of it, mostly just because like for time reasons more than anything. Like if you're not on there a lot, you really fall behind. But definitely see the fun in it when you've got the opportunity to. Ooh, that's a decent sized humpback whitefish right there. You know, right now, Canadian, there's probably someone still trying to say that you can't troll while using telescopic rod. We're always getting that. All these non-believers. You know what I may do? I did a little play around with my settings. So, Canadian, if you're cool with this, I'll probably hit you up about 10-15 minutes before I plan on starting the Fishing Planet stream tomorrow. Just so I can have someone that can give me some feedback to make sure I've got the audio levels at a good amount and stuff like that. Because I can in my OBS studio everything seems level, but you know once you go to Twitch, who knows? Appreciate it. All right, so we're just about to the eastern edge here, in which case we'll turn around and switch to drifting, try to get a little bit of drifting action in here. Got another decent sized one coming in. Looks like a broad whitefish. Not bad, almost 3 kilo. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed that Yama is so, like, I was really expecting to be able to make telescopic work well enough out there, but it's just the catch rate's just too low because you're fighting the current with your floats the whole time. I feel like Tunguska and Ladoga Lake, Aktuba, Seversky are kind of like the best places for telescopic. Occasionally Oldberg, Bear, and Amber Lake for some carp stuff, but I think those other rivers all the rivers are the best one besides Yama. Maybe Sura as well. Another broad whitefish here. Still no taimen. I was like that very first day I came out here to Tunguska, we caught 2 taimen, and I have not been able to catch one since. It seems like this little area around the 16 hole is fairly active for broad whitefish right now, though. So if anybody's looking to try to get a record one of those, might be worth doing some trolling for it. Doing competition and quarry right now. Nice. Is it a what parameters are the competition on it? Right. Switch to drifting mode now. Biggest fish. Good luck on it. Yeah, I mean, and the thing about it is, I think that if there's basically like 3 spots I can see where telescopic on Yama, missed that one, where I think telescopic can work on Yama. The issue is those spots just have to be the active spots. If they're not active, like the rest of that river is pretty much unusable for the tele rods. Now, if you were using like match rods where you could cast a lot further out, probably be a lot better. But at that point, like, I just feel like unless you're fishing for sturgeon and catfish, why are you using match? Yeah, we got, looks like another little broad whitefish there. Yep. Poopy's winning. It's all right, just don't do a halibut competition with Branna in there. Branna will wipe the floor with everybody. 9 kilo fish. Oh, was that the lake trout I saw pop up earlier? Hey, Demeter, how's it going? 9 points. Oh, an Arctic char. That's a big Arctic char right there. Dang. Good on Poopy. So I will say, when I with the Fishing Planet stream starting tomorrow, I probably won't be doing telescopic on there just yet, mainly because I'm still relearning the game and I don't have any tele rods on there. But I missed that one. I do have some pretty good bottom rods and a bunch of spinning rods on there. So tomorrow's stream on there will be going after some sturgeon and some striped bass probably, while we talk about what we want to do with those streams. There's plenty of, one thing about that game is there's a ton of missions and challenges and stuff that that we can try and go after. Instead of just trying to go after a big fish of a particular species, we can try to fill out all the different missions and stuff. Fun to do. And another thing we can do on there, if we get a good amount of people to join into the fishing club and play with us, we could do like an occasional guest stream where we can, because in that game you can see each other, like you can join a room and you can see each other fishing. And something we could do, we have to vet people to make sure we know everyone understands the rules, to keep it family friendly and stuff. But we could try doing some Discord chats and have some special streams where some of the viewers join in and we can all see from each other's perspectives and chat about the fish we're catching on Discord. It'll be a pretty fun event. Yeah, I just definitely need a change of pace from doing RF4 for every stream, just because I am at that endless grind part of the game where any progress forward, whether it be for gear, skill gains, or level ups, is just a huge amount of grind. So to keep myself from burning out on here, I think it's a perfect time to start doing the alternating streams. Well, subject of Halloween, am I the only one that's very disappointed with the offering of movies this year for Halloween? Like, nothing. There are no big horror movies that came out this month. I think like Nun 2 came out and that was it. Tonight's tea is Lady Grey, by the way. Forgot to mention that earlier. Oh yeah, there is the Five Nights at Freddy's. I did forget that was coming out, so at least there's one horror spooky movie coming out. Man, it's been a very dry year for horror movies compared to like the last couple years. It's that one, surprised. Like, the last couple years have been banger for good horror films, but this year's been kind of dry. Hopefully we'll get some more good ones next year. I've just been rewatching some old classic horrors for October's. Last night I was rewatching Sleepaway Camp 2, which I did not realize was filmed out here in Georgia back in 1987. So they were a few decades ahead of the curve. Now, like everybody's filming here in Georgia. Anybody, what's everybody's favorite horror movie or just spooky, scary movie in general? A lot of great options out there. Depending on like for me, I've got different ones for different reasons. Like if I was going for like just camp factor, you like the thing. Now, which version of the thing? And there's like three of them. Don't be scared of the dark. Not bad. Which luckily the thing is the very very first one, even before the John Carpenter remake. Very nice, classic right there. A small whitefish. I have to say, let's see. For camp factor, I'd probably go with the fourth Nightmare on Elm Street. For actual like originality and creep factor, probably It Follows. Psychological horror, I'd have to go with Hereditary. Let's see. A lot of different properties. I missed a fish there, but that's all right. The Old Candyman, that's a good one too. Yeah, that's what Mark was mentioning. The Five Nights at Freddy's coming out this weekend. I'd forgotten that one's coming out, but it's just like kind of miss all the old horror franchises. Like you used to be able to rely on like a Halloween, a Friday the 13th, Scream, something like that. But now what's weird to me is they keep releasing horror movies nowadays in like January and February. Like I think the last two Scream movies were both released in January. Like why not release those in October? Like we're not releasing Christmas movies in March. Why release all these horror movies in the beginning of the year when there's none coming out around Halloween? Weird. I'll tell you that the modern day masters of horror movies is that I mean, as far as distributors go, A24, like any of the good horror movies coming out, at least in America right now, come out of A24's because they're one of the like last. I mean, they're a fairly new studio or distributor. I think they came around in like 2011 or something like that. But they're still willing to give like small budget movies and screenwriters a chance. So you get things like Witch that came out in I'll say like 2016, something like that. That was a $4 million budget and blows most like Blumhouse and all those other attempted horror studios out of the water. Yeah, so the original Scream is an all-time classic because it's not only is it a great slasher flick in its own right, but it's such a good meta commentary on the genre that is a true classic. A little Arctic oatmeal. Yeah, the fall movies, those are kind of just gore. I call them gore porn, but they're kind of just there for the shock and gore factor, which, you know, some people, that's their thing. More power to them. It's like that. Hostel is another series in that vein of things, and they're not like the campy kind of gore. Like if you look at like the old Friday the 13th or something like Turbo Kid, the gore is campy and like funny, and it's meant to be like more of like, at least after the first one, it's meant to be more tongue in cheek. It's that fish. But when you get ones like Hostel or Saw, they're meant to try to make you feel uncomfortable, and ultimately it's kind of like, for me, it doesn't do it. Human Centipede, yeah, it was a. The worst part about Human Centipede is I was like, when it first came out, I'm like, okay, maybe this is interesting because it's going to be like someone actually like trying to genetically engineer these people to be like an extent their own organism, but no, it's just sewing the mouths to the bums. That's all it was. But if you want to see something in that vein that's actually like is kind of a weird progression of that the movie was kind of made as a joke was Tusk, a little Kevin Smith film with Justin Long. I'm gonna reposition back out to the center here. It's basically about a guy that's like a scientist is trying to turn into a walrus, and it's interesting. To get in position here, I'll throw out some of my own personal recommendations for good horror movies to watch with Halloween around the corner here. This river is deceptively wide. Like, this looks like I'm a lot further across than I actually am. Yo. Walruses don't cry. Yep. Okay, so a couple that I've already mentioned. It Follows is really good. Which is really good if you're, but you've got to be able to be open-minded with like, and be able to appreciate cinematography, stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen Megan. wasn't a huge fan of it. Like, I think the problem with Megan is that if it had come out like 15 years ago, I think it would have been great. The problem is we've had a lot of better movies for that particular story, like someone making a human companion bot that goes crazy, basically, which would be like another A24 film, actually, Deus Ex. That's kind of the premise of that film. Great one. Yeah, It Follows, Witch, Hereditary. Definitely, if you've not seen those, very good. The original Child's Play from the 80s, love that one. I haven't seen the recent remake, but don't like the Saw movies. But yeah, definitely like the original Child's Play was fantastic, and even like some of the 90s ones, like the Bride of Chucky and stuff like that. They were so campy. It was they were a lot of fun to watch. See, the first Silent Hill movie, that's a decent one. Friday the 13th, if I had to pick one of those movies from that series, I'd have to say Part 4 or Part 6. And Nightmare on Elm Street, both the first one and the fourth one are classic. It's that bitch. But I think ultimately, It Follows is probably my all-around favorite modern horror movie. Series-wise, if you've got Netflix and you haven't seen it, Midnight Mass is fantastic. Mike Flanagan, very good. So the first Silent Hill movie, I don't know that it was necessarily overrated. Like it definitely had room for improvement, but for an adaptation of it was kind of an adaptation of the first two games, and kind of like was an amalgam of both of them. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't like it wasn't a top all-time classic or anything. But for something to watch around Halloween, I think it's a decent option. Now the games, the original 4 games, those are great, fantastic. Love Silent Hills. Didn't care so much for the Resident Evil games. Exorcist, yep, I've seen. I haven't seen the recent ones. I know they came out like Exorcist: The Beginning or something like that recently. Like the original 3, absolutely. And the first one, like that's an all-time horror classic for sure. And then you got, of course, the old Universal monster movies with got Dracula and the Mummy, the Wolfman, all that with. So we had. For some reason, the names are escaping me. On the actors, we got brain fart on that. But yeah, all the old classic Universal movies were great. The Hammer films from the 70s, those were pretty good. Chainsaw Massacre. Now, there's been a lot of attempts at Chainsaw Massacre. Hey there, Soranaka. Welcome to the chat. You're in the land of Dracula out there in Transylvania. Vlad the Impaler territory. Very nice. Situated back towards the center of the river here. Very cool. Is that area like still pretty heavily wooded, or has it been urbanized quite a bit? I'm going to stop the engine. Urbanized a lot. Seems like wooded areas just in the next 20 years are going to be hard to come by. It's everywhere. It's just being urbanized. Brasov, Romania. Okay, I'll take a look at that. Let's see. Brasov, Romania. I like that. First picture came out. Looks like there's an old castle on top of a hill that seems to be a big center of the town's history. It's pretty neat. I always like those old castles stuff. That's one thing that like Europe's got all that old historical architecture, which is always so neat to see. America, we've got like our history is not old enough to have that kind of architecture. I forget who said, but like once said that like America's history is junk. Like we just acquired all this random stuff in the last century, and that's kind of like historical Americana now. Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. I don't know if I've seen that one. The original is good. Even like one of the early 2000s remakes of it was decent. Zombie movies. We're on the subject of October movies. Train to Busan. If you haven't seen that, it's a South Korean film, which South Korea is knocking it out of the park with their films lately. They are making some bangers, but Train to Busan is really, really good. Yeah, Zombieland was a lot of fun. Like that. What was great about Zombieland is it truly embraced like the campiness you could do with a zombie movie. I've actually got a friend of mine is one of the stunt actors in both Zombieland films. She was also the stunt double for Sadie Sink, the skater girl in Stranger Things. She's her stunt double for the skating scenes on that. But yeah, Zombieland's a lot of fun. But Train to Busan is like it's a zombie movie where the zombies are kind of just they're not really the focus of the story. It's really, really good. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. Last of Us. Yeah, I haven't watched the HBO adaptation of Last of Us. I've heard like it seems like it's one of those adaptations where you either love it or hate it. Like I haven't heard anybody that's kind of like in the middle on it. Everyone just kind of just absolutely loves it or hates it. Stretch and hydrate. You got it. Hey Drake, how's it going? Cheers. Can I hook that? Got it hooked. All right. See if he stays on while I stretch. Oh, got a little vertical action here. Little side to side. Arch the back. There we go. Appreciate it. And the fish even stayed on. What a polite fish. Another broad whitefish here, not a very big one. See, other zombie genre movies, let's see. The Dawn of the Dead remake, the first one, was pretty good. And the original Dawn of the Dead, those were great. Really, those are like the standouts, I would say. Yeah, Train to Busan, like definitely. If there's a movie I've listed on here today that you haven't seen that I would put on the top of the list of definitely watch it, it'd be that one. Then we've got when I was young, the big thing for kids, for me at that time, the old original Goosebumps books. Went through a lot of those. Fiona and Cake. I don't think I've seen that. I've heard of it, I believe. Not one that I've seen. Light flashlight on or off? Good. Sun's starting to get low here. And then there's that recent Halloween trilogy that they were the basically soft reboot. The first one I thought was pretty decent. Second one was garbage. The third one had some good ideas, but never really took off from the first one. Adventure Time for teen adult audiences. Okay. Fiona and Cake. Gotcha. Sounds interesting. Anyways, so like in 2010 there, was R.L. Stine still making new Goosebumps, or was it all just like the classics that everyone? Remember as a kid, man, I'd sink my teeth into one of those. I'd go through the whole thing in a single sitting. Just like, nope, I'm not putting this book down until I get through it. So he was making some. That's interesting. I didn't realize he was still making them into the mid 2000s. Pretty neat. And some of those classic ones like Say Cheese or Die, or was it Say Cheese or Die, or Say Cheese and Die? One of the two. That was a fun one. Obviously, the camp one with the wolf. Or not really wolf, but like hellhound, basically. And you got Stephen King and Dean Koontz novels, which on the Stephen King aspect, I was not a huge fan of the Stanley Kubrick adaptation of The Shining. Like cinematography wise, it was great. I mean, that's Stanley Kubrick for you, but I didn't care for it. I actually liked the early '90s TV miniseries adaptation more as far as film adaptations. But in recent years, it's actually from Mike Flanagan that did Midnight Mass. There was Doctor Sleep, which was a sequel to both the Stanley Kubrick adaptation, which took a lot of liberties with the story, and the original Stephen King book. And it's a really good movie that I wouldn't. It's got ghosts and stuff, so I think it'd be one that we can fit into the October theme. Sun's going down, so this bite rate's going to crater for a bit. Got another broad whitefish here. One day we'll find those Taman again. Yeah. The other thing for me when it comes to horror movies, I much prefer like the atmospheric and psychological aspects, like jump scare stuff, just annoys me ultimately. Why I really like things like Hereditary and It Follows. Like to me, the test of how good your horror movie is can someone watch it on mute with just closed captioning and still get chills? If you pull that off, that's when you've got a masterful. So I don't like a lot of these like the Insidious movies and stuff like that. Like it's just not my cup of tea because they rely way too much on jump scare. Right. They won't spook me, but they will bother me. Well, Asian smelt on our size one hook. As far as Halloween in general, one thing, at least the area I live, I remember when I was a kid, like almost everyone in suburban areas decorated for Halloween for trick or treaters and everything. So it was like it was my favorite time of the year as a kid because you like at least like every other house in a neighborhood was decorated to some extent. Maybe some may have just been here's some carved pumpkins on the porch, but at least it's something. And like everybody was doing giving out candy. It was just awesome. But nowadays, it's like maybe one house per neighborhood will be decorated. No one trick or treats in the neighborhoods anymore. They just go to like usually like the city will host like a trunk or treat or whatever they call it in parks or like local churches or schools will have those. But people just go to those. So it's like it's kind of like kids today are definitely missing out on the Halloween of the '90s, which was such a fantastic time of year. It's like Christmas is kind of the same way. Like you used to just drive around to see people's Christmas lights and stuff like that, and just people don't care to be festive anymore. Decent little bike rate at this spot. If you're looking for a starting Cisco trophy, this spot right here might be a good spot to try. Didn't wasn't there just recently Canadian Thanksgiving more or less CW? No, there's some holiday up there similar to it up there that takes place sometime around here. A perch. Don't get that very often when doing this. And will we get lucky and get some Umber catfish through the night? That'd be nice. Well, we had the up there in Romania. Are there any like particular holiday seasons there that people really decorate for? There's Cisco here. Not bad, not bad. Not really. Yeah, it seems like it's there's some places like I know Japan still seems to do be fairly festive for the holidays, certain holidays. That's that's about it. Brazil goes all out for Carnival, but yeah, it seems like general public festive atmosphere is becoming a thing of the past everywhere. It feels like, which is definitely a shame. Like even as cheesy as they are, I used to love like going to the shopping, you know, like a grocery store in December, and you hear all the old like cheesy classic Christmas tunes. You got your jingle bells and rocking around the Christmas tree, stuff like that. Like I miss that stuff. For as much cheese as it is, it's kind of like we're all, you know, throughout the majority of the year, it's we're all facing the doldrum of the day to day. So those, you know, particularly Halloween and Christmas were like the October and December used to always look forward to because like, this is it's going to feel nice and different to go out and about. In North Kakalaki, lots of nice places up there in North Carolina. The arguably better Carolina. Whenever I drive through there, if I go up north, like going through South Carolina, I swear I-85 for the entirety of South Carolina has been under construction for like a decade on what is going on over there. It's ridiculous. In North Carolina, you've got the Asheville, you've got the Mount Airy area, you've got the Triad, got your coastline. Dream of going to South Carolina. That's a that's a unique one. I've never heard of it being a high like a dream destination. I mean, it's got some cool beaches and stuff like that, and some neat, but never. I guess just because being around the area, it's kind of everybody just it's just kind of one of those things. But definitely some fun spots out there. If you get out to like the islands where it's kind of like almost swampy, it's pretty neat. Now let me fish play. Awesome, Mark. Yeah, I'll definitely be sure to let you know what the fishing club name is when we get like I'll create it on stream tomorrow. So everybody that wants to join will be free to join in. It's a learning curve. It's very different from RF4 in a lot of ways. One of the things that you'll find with fishing play is you have the ability to change time. There's a cooldown on it, but if you get hit to a spot of the day where either the fish you're going after or just fish in general aren't biting, you can kind of pass the time and go to where fish are biting, which is one of the big complaints I always have, like we're seeing right now on RF4. Nighttime hits, most of the time that just means you're sitting here doing nothing but watching the dark screen for 15 minutes until the sun comes back out. But luckily, I think the biggest difference is I think RF4 is more suitable to like a hardcore player that's willing to put in a lot of hours per day, whereas I think Fishing Planet is a little more time friendly. You can take more of a casual approach to fishing planets and not feel like you're just not getting anywhere. Big shark fan? Oh yeah, sharks. There are definitely a lot of sharks along the South Carolina coast. Yeah, very much like in the Call of the Wild, the Hunter, where you can pass the time. And what's neat is like it's in Fishing Planet, the game is like instance between all the different players, but if you're in the same room as people, you can make your own private rooms and stuff like that. You can watch each other fish and see each other fight the fish, pull it in, stuff like that. Yeah, sort. So I did try Yama for a couple days last week, and we caught a few things. It wasn't anything particularly awesome. I think we caught a couple Linnock, a couple char, and some chum salmon, and that was pretty much it. And some like loach. The issue with telescopic fishing there is that it's similar to the stream over here. The current is so rapid that you either have to walk the stream and have one line out at a time, or there's only like 2 or 3 spots where you can actually set multiple lines out in the water. So what I'm more or less waiting for is to see when we were out there, there was basically 3 spots on Yama that I think telescopic. We did try, and 2 of them worked for sure, and then one of them I theorized but didn't go check. But they are spots where the direction of the current are just right to where you can have 3 telescopics on a rod stand and be okay. The issue is just those spots need to be active before it's really worth it. Otherwise, you just have one line, you're kind of just walking the river. And doing that, it was like maybe every 10 minutes we'd get a fish. So unfortunately, it just wasn't active enough. But if I see those spots become active on one of the Discords, I will definitely do another stream to try them out with the Tele rods. So we got a Arctic char, I think. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. Like here, there's a spot right here you can put all 3 telescopic rods and rod holders because the current pulls it out towards the middle here. And that's really like the only spot where you can effectively do 3 telescopic rods on the side stream. Yeah, Sura I did not have luck on when I went out there. The problem with that one is, again, like the current situation, but also it seems like most of the fish on Sura are out towards the middle or far side of the river. So you can't have 3 lines out. You basically have to have a single line. But the other problem is they're also pretty deep. A lot of them are like 10, 11 meters deep out there on Sura, which telescopic just can't reach, unfortunately. So Sura may honestly be worse than Yama for telescopic. Because at least Yama is shallow. That's the problem is like if I want to go after sturgeon here, for example, they hang out in these really deep holes, which you can only go down to 5.2 meters on a telescopic, so you kind of can't go after them. Yeah, Demeter found like up in the top right corner of Sura, there's a spot that you can make. And also that pond is probably good for like carp, some of the carp species out there. But yeah, I did not have much luck finding. But at the same time, like Sura is another one I think similar to Actuba, where you just need to know which spots are active and then just cling to those particular spots. It's not the kind of place where you can kind of just like Tunguska, as I've done here, you kind of just fish along the entire river and you'll catch stuff. So, boat rental's about to expire. Oh, we're just about to hit the end of the drift line anyways. And so some other differences with Fishing Planet to be aware of for those interested in trying out. It's still fully free to play, and the difference is there are a lot more things you can get with gold on there, but there are ways to accumulate gold in the game, stuff like that. But I will say that I think that RF4 probably does a better job at being like very. That's one of the things I praise RF4 for a lot is that they are extremely generous with their free to play. With Fishing Planet, you can absolutely play the game entirely without putting a single penny in, but you definitely like even more so than here on RF4. You definitely do notice a progression speed difference more so on Fishing Planet than you do on RF4 if you're premium. That's to say, in my opinion, this is Mr. Fish there. And for me, like RF4, I approach this differently than a lot of people. A lot of people kind of like really focus on farming stuff to maximize silver and XP gain per hour on RF4. I'd like to just enjoy the fishing aspect of it and having fun. And so for me, like for Fishing Planet, for example, there's certainly ways you can approach it and maximize experience or in-game currency per hour, or you can just go out and just play for fun. And I think the difference with RF4, you definitely get these periods where, like I had the week before last, where I just could not find a fish anywhere I went. It was just miserable. And I think Fishing Planet does a better job, at least, and because it's more leaning more towards arcadey than simulation. It's a little more forgiving. Like you'll find some fish more easily. Yeah, honestly, like I like that idea, Soren. The difficulty there is really just in the travel costs associated, but I've got enough silver saved up that that's a good idea. Now trying to target trophy something that is a little hard, but I'll add some of those in. There we go. The vote period ended. Where did I set that down? So that's a good idea. I'll add some channel rewards like that for changing maps. And I'll have to also think of some fun ones as we, one of our big channel point redemptions here is the Pickles and Tea, which is just kind of making fun of how our in-game character here pretty much, nice trophy rough there, Drake. We basically survive on Pickles and Tea in-game. So I'll have to think of something similar for Fishing Planet that we can, something that we start memeing on there. I can try and make an alternative to Pickles and Tea for Fishing Planet streams. But I do like that idea of having a map switch option. I'll make a note to build some of those in for future streams. And yeah, I've done a lot of carp fishing with the Tele rods. See, my biggest one is actually we've got the foot ticking. Yeah, this 18.2 kilo grass carp is my biggest one telescopic so far. All good, Canadian. I'll be sure for just a little bit longer, but I'll catch you tomorrow. Take it easy. See if we catch anything here. We'll give it another like about 10-15 minutes here at the old 82-100 spot. See if it's still active, and we'll get ready to turn these fish in. And since I'm back ashore, I might as well scoop some bait. I've still been I haven't been able to get a good answer asking on the main Discord, but I'm still trying to figure out like which telescopic rod I want to go for my upgrades on here. You've got the Inferno, which would give me a few more kilos of capacity, and it's like the highest capacity telescopic rods. But you've also got the ones that is +3 skill level, which should, in theory, allow me to catch trophies more often. But I would have to avoid carp on those rods. I'd stick into like whitefish and stuff like that. But I haven't been able to get a good answer on the main Discord about like how realistically big of an effect those plus skill rods have. So see, as far as the hot spots I saw when drifting out here, it seemed like here on the lower part of the 11-meter hole was really active, and then like between the 16 and the 12 were both really active. So if you come out here to do some trolling, whether it's telescopic trolling or spinner trolling, I'd recommend that those two sections. They seem to be fairly active right now. So far, 8200. So this is kind of what I noticed when over the weekend, I did hop on to try 8200. This is usually a really good go-to spot here on Tunguska, but I was mostly catching smelt even on size 2/0 hooks out here, which isn't particularly great. This spot may finally be worn out. Don't know where they may have migrated to. But it also could have just been the luck of that day. Sometimes you get those weird weather combinations where just the way it is. For another scoop, let's go with the actual scoop this time. So we've got a diving beetle. Nope, nothing good. I used to love getting the algae, but I haven't used algae as a bait in a long time because I found that like everything that I could catch on algae, I could catch on diced potatoes, and it's a lot easier to just get a bunch of diced potatoes than it is algae. Here we go, getting some nibbles. Okay, we got some weird bite pattern here. Probably smelt it. Usually that just means they weren't strong enough to bring the float down, so it's probably smelt. Just start it up. So if you need some help on like getting started on there, there's a YouTuber, BZ Hub. He's done a lot of like getting started videos for Fishing Planet. I definitely recommend checking some of his stuff out, and then I'll try to go over some of it, a lot of the different quirks on my stream tomorrow. I do have like the gear I've got. I'm level 40 on there, so if I went back to like the starting area, it wouldn't be a great representation of how to really utilize the lower level gear. But the first thing I recommend is go through the options, because there's a lot of different visual settings for the game, and off the top of my head, some ones you'll definitely want to change. There's one that's like your tension indicator, which by default is just a single vertical bar on the right-hand side of the screen. Change that to Pro, because that gives you a clearer picture of where the fish's tension is, as far as like, is it on your line or leader? Is it on your reel, or is it on your rod? And it kind of gives you a good breakdown of how much tension there is on each component, which is really nice. And also change your float size. The float size is something I really wish RF4 had, because like, especially if you have your float cast a little ways out, it's hard to see them sometimes. And then with Fishing Planet, you can like change the bobber indicator to be a really big bobber, which is very handy if you don't want to be squinting at your screen the whole time. We're just getting a bunch of smelt hitting these, which not going to be able to hook very reliably. Yeah, you can get the binoculars, which is something I do need to pick up. It definitely helps. Yeah, I really wish there were more, and not just like the size of the floats. Like these three floats are kind of the most visible, but they all come in the same color. So if you're in an area where you want to keep like shifting the rods around and there's a lot of current moving them, it gets like you can't really tell which line is associated with which float. So I'd love to be able to customize the color of these floats as well. That might not be a smelt. Missed it still. I'm going to probably recast all of these. And And another thing I don't think they tell you in the tutorial for Fishing Planet, maybe they do and I don't remember, but when you're casting, it may not be the case with, like, I think you start with a telescopic rod on there, but at least with a rod and reel, if you right click, it gives you like targeted casting instead of just a blanket like hold in and cast, which is really nice for trying to target where you're trying to aim at, get a better idea of where you're casting towards. You know, there the same general rule applies as far as weight capacity. You want your rod to be your highest capacity, your reel to be the next highest, then your line, and then lastly your leader. Those rules still apply. Definitely something when I first started playing fish play. You know, when I fish in real life, I've done a lot of fishing in real life, but never like to the kind of serious level where I had to be concerned about the weight capacity of my gear. And so when I first started playing Fishing Planet, and luckily because I played that, I knew to apply that here on RF4, but I didn't realize that relationship. So I definitely broke my first rod on Fishing Planet pretty quickly. Ooh, little round whitefish. Those are nice and rare. I won't be surprised if that's actually a global Tele weekly since we're still only on Monday. Got to level 4 or level 2. Very nice. And you'll get through those first few levels pretty quick. And the first map you start on is mostly there's like some bass, some drum, some small channel catfish, little like bluegill and stuff like that. But I think by like level 8 you unlock a trout lake, which is pretty fun, like Falcon Lake or something like that. Now, the other thing to be aware of on Fishing Planet 2 is how the licenses work when you go to a map. If you don't purchase a license, which you purchase them with the in-game currency, if you don't purchase the advanced, you're limited on which species you can keep to sell. So it's always worth getting the advanced license and the as far as like the in-game time and frames and everything like that, the licenses are based on real time. So if you buy a 1-day advanced license, that's 24 hours real time. But then the actual trips are in-game days, which you can fast forward through. And it's actually like what you can do is you don't have to worry about it on your first one. Once you start traveling to other maps, if you just travel there for 1 day, that's fine, because when you progress to the next day, it'll give you the option to just go ahead and re-up and renew for a new day anyways. And the initial trip costs more, but then each day is a lot cheaper. It's kind of like taking into account like, oh, you got to pay for like a flight to get there, which is going to be your biggest cost, but then you're just paying for a hotel each night, that type of deal. But always pick up those advanced licenses. And pay attention also to the missions and challenges, because that's going to allow you to unlock not just bait coins, which is their premium currency. So you'll get those just from doing some stuff in game, but you'll also get a lot of like premium tackle, like premium lures and hooks and stuff like that. They're pretty good about giving you ways to earn those through play. Nice. This area's picked up a little bit, so it looks like 82-100 is still a decent option. It's still a little bit smaller fish than it usually gives. I think the trolling was a little more profitable, but still a reliable spot, especially since you can have 3 lines in the water. And Mark, if you want to send me a friend request, I'll be on there a little bit later tonight. It's the same name as on here and on my Twitch stream, Creediness. So, want to send me one of those? I can. If you're still on there when I get on later, I can hit you up. I'll be playing some other stuff between this stream and getting on though. So we're at 32 fish caught. That's not terrible, especially since we're doing the majority of this all trolling, so we just had the one line. Cool. We got something a little decent size here. Yeah. Unable to complete. Unable to complete what? It's weird. All right, let's catch 2 more fish. So we're at 35 fish in the net here. And Mark, also, I don't know if you intend to approach Fishing Planet fully free to play, or if you plan on spending currency. If you do plan on spending real money, let me know, because I can give you some advice to on what's the best bang for your buck. They have a lot of different packages and stuff like that. So my plan on there is I'm going to probably skate by on. I might do like 1 month premium, but they always on Black Friday. So on towards the end, the last Thursday or last Friday of November, every year they apparently put their all premium options on sale for 50% off. So I'll probably pick up like a year of premium next month for that, because there's only like $30 that way. But there's a lot of premium DLC options they have, which are either they're not a good value, or they're one of those things where it seems like a good value, but it's going to cause you to like miss out on a lot of gameplay that you don't really want to do on your time playing. So I can definitely recommend it, where to focus on that stuff. Or if you want to go free to play, like I said, it's just as with RF4, you can definitely go without ever spending a dime on it. Get this one. All right, we got our 35 fish. So I think we'll go ahead and turn these in and see what we got. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a learning curve, because there's a lot going on with the UI and the controls, but you'll adapt to programming. It's kind of like RF4. I think it's a little more simple to get into the fishing aspect, but harder when you start learning about all the different crafting and stuff. Whereas I feel like it's the other way around with Fishing Planet, where the fishing takes a little more learning, but the other stuff is more simple. I don't think our pellet were big enough. It doesn't look like we got anything for the cafe. That. All right, so 35 fish. What's our guess on how much we've got in the net? I want to say 163 silver. That's going to be my guess. Got 189 from Drake. Any other guesses before I sell these to the market? Got 190 from Mark. Ooh, okay, we get for Drake to win now. It's got to be like 189.5. Dude, that price is right action. All right, let's see what we got. Total came out to 160. Wow, I was other than the cents, I was dead on. I said 163. It was right there. All right, that's twice now in all of our streams. We had one time when another person had the exact number. It was the exact dollar amount. Second time. Very nice. Not a bad haul for an hour, mostly trolling. I want to go ahead and sell everything except for some that are worth not much that I can turn into bait. And that's sad to see. Like, usually Linux are really valuable, but you get them under marker. Bad time. Looks like everything else is worth selling, so we make a few pieces of fish out of that, up to over 5,300 silver now. And make those fish pieces. It's crazy that 100% bait harvesting, you can still somehow fail making chunks of fish. There we go. Go and get our end of stream scoop on for good luck. See what kind of pull we get. Hey, we got a mole cricket, so everybody's going to have some good luck. You're all going to catch some trophies tonight. There we go. With that said, we'll go and wrap things up here. Not a bad haul at all tonight. I love telescopic trolling on Tunguska. I don't know what it is. It's just a lot of fun. So again, tomorrow we'll be doing Fishing Planet, and we'll start alternating back and forth and see how that goes. I may, if we get enough interest in that stream as well, I'll start maybe doing some alternating time slots where I'll do both of them each day, different times. But encourage everyone to tune in for that tomorrow. Even if you're not, if you are playing, if there's a few of us playing, then I'll head over to the starting maps, and we can all, because that game you can see other players and you can watch each other fight the fish together, so we can all kind of like fish together while everybody's learning the game. We'll do that tomorrow, same time frame, and then we'll be back to RF4 Wednesday night, and we'll just go back and forth between the two. But with that said, hope everyone has a good night or good day, depending on your time zone. Some good fishing, whether that's on Fishing Planet or RF4, or in real life if you're out there doing some real life fishing. Always wish you good luck on that. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will catch you all next time. Take it easy, folks.